AC Green Show.
Welcome to the AC Green Show. I'm AC Green. You know what we do here. We're building a community of goal-oriented, success-driven individuals who recognize the value of coming together to do great things as we all build financial wealth and live holistic lives. Earlier today, I spoke for the graduating class, 8th grade class of a school on the south side of Chicago, and it was fantastic. To see those resilient young folks do their thing was absolutely incredible. Under different times, incredible odds, and I really mean that. And when I tell you more about the school, you'll see what I'm saying. Yeah, can you imagine you looking forward to 8th grade graduation when you're in 1st grade or 5th grade or 6th grade, and you're graduating the year 2020. That's a big year. And then it gets here and there's a pandemic and you cannot go to a graduation with your family, your friends, and everybody there looking. That's big, man. That could mean depression down the line for a lot of people, unless you're strong. And I was able to talk to that graduating class, and they motivated me. Yeah, they did. It was a virtual graduation. I was their commencement speaker, and it motivated me. A little bit about the school. It's Neal Elementary School. They, as I said, on the south side of Chicago, in Chatham, the Chatham area. So the school services children with disabilities. They're diverse learners. Yeah, many have mental or physical disabilities. 45% of the students are medically fragile or have a physical or learning disability. 55% of the students are siblings to the diverse learning students. So that means that they may have a sister or a brother who doesn't have a learning issue, and they also go to school with them. As a school with a large population, they tell me that, you know, the students with fragile needs get an incredible daily teaching, learning, dealing with their social, emotional needs. It got me, y'all. Yeah. Just to watch those students, some who have really deep mental needs. And then others who were just incredible in terms of, you know, them being in school with those with very special needs. So I told this group of students that there is nothing that they cannot accomplish. And how many times have you heard that? I've heard that many times. I heard that in my graduation, all of that. And I just didn't want to be like, you know, I'm a talking head, an older guy, you know, talking to these young folks, man. So I got deeply personal, deeply passionate. I asked many of them what they wanted to do when they got out of high school. And then if they went to college, what they wanted to do when they got out of college. And they told me their answer. And I told them, you know, from my heart, don't ever do what you do just because you're doing something. And don't ever do it just for the sake of money. To let whatever passion you have inside of you and whatever purpose inside of you and whatever that gift and that talent is inside of you, let that be the reason you do what you do, and then perfect that. Because the reason that we have children in inner cities and in other places too that cannot learn is because in most cases they have teachers who don't even like kids. Imagine a teacher that doesn't like children. And then imagine, like we do with this policing situation, police officers that really have a disdain for the people they're policing. You already start at a disadvantage with that. Imagine that you had an accountant that did not like mathematics, or a doctor that hated connecting with people personally at all. Many of these students go to school, not at this school. Principal Knox is excellent at this school, but many schools have teachers that purely don't like kids. And we wonder why these kids don't learn, because they can't be motivated by somebody who just does not, they don't like their own kids. They don't like kids at all. But yet they're teaching in a school because it's what they do, not who they are. And I told them, and I talked to them about making sure you stay authentic to who you are. And that goes for us as adults. We need to be doing more of who we are as opposed to what we do. If I ask you right now, what do you do for a living? and you told me the answer. Then I ask you after that, I say, listen, are you doing what you do for a living, or are you doing who you are? If you do who you are for a living, you're going to have less stress because that's your purpose. Birds were meant to fly. They have the gift of flight, and fish to swim. They're doing who they are. It'd be crazy, man, to, see a bird trying to do a nosedive in a lake. I'm telling you, what we need to do is we need to reinvestigate who we are. You get more stressful situations, more death, more sickness when you do what you do for a living as opposed to doing who you are. If you do what you are, it's not like you even go to work one day. You never went to work if you do who you are because it's your passion, it's your gift. So I talked to those young folks, man, and then I brought up a story about myself and Barack Obama. So I met Barack Obama in 2004, maybe 2003, going on 2004. And, he was that tall, lanky guy with big ears and a funny name. He was an Illinois senator at that time. He hadn't made it to U.S. Senate. He hadn't made it to the presidency. And I'm a musician. I don't play the keyboard like I used to, but nevertheless, I was a musician at that time, and I was playing the piano at a banquet, and he was there speaking along with other political candidates, and many of them had already signed on to me as my one of my clients because I, for years, did political commercials, jingles, political media, and so I saw this guy, and I knew he was running. He had just made a speech, so at the break when he left, I left with him and walked behind him and introduced myself to him, told him who I was, what I wanted to do for him, to do a commercial, a jingle, musical jingles like little ditty, like little songs, and he said he really didn't have any money. That was when he was starting his campaign, and he said he and Michelle didn't have any money, at that point to spend on that. So I said, hey, don't worry about it. I'll do it anyway. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know this guy was going to end up being president. I didn't even know him. I just knew he had a funny name, Obama. And think about it. We know him as President Barack Obama today, but back in the day, man, folks didn't even care. Hey, he is who he is. He's another politician. So I did it anyway. I put it together for him and didn't know what was going to happen. It was for a parade that it's called in Chicago, the Bud Billiken Parade. So I did it anyway, and I presented it to them, sent it down to his office. And one of his staffers called me maybe about 3 weeks later, right before the parade, say, hey, listen, they really like it. Come on down. I want to talk to you. And this is one of his staffers telling me that. So I went down there, and they said, hey, listen, he doesn't have much because hasn't even really started his senatorial campaign, U.S. Senate campaign. But we are going to be in the parade, and we like what you put together. So actually, he said Michelle and Barack like what I put together. So he gave me $300. And, I charge a whole lot more than $300. But, hey, seemed like a nice enough guy. I just ate the cost or whatever, and I did it. I've done this for many other candidates, so that or many other customers, over the years, because I believe that's how you build relationships. Sometimes you just chalk it off as the cost of marketing, to do some things like that. So I did that and took the $300, and they, lo and behold, they played it at the Billiken Parade, along with some other parade people that had music, and I did a lot of the music that year for the various parade floats and all that. So it was interesting. Later on, I got a call from a few other people said, hey, listen, the Obama campaign needs a jingle, needs a commercial. And at this time, they had a slogan, and they had gotten into the campaign season a little bit. They were about a year away from the actual campaign. And so I went to the studio, and first of all, I asked them, hey, listen, what is your slogan? And they told me it was, yes, we can. They only had the words. So what I did is I went in the studio with my producers, and I produced a commercial jingle entitled Yes, We Can, the music. All right. And I got in touch with some people down at the campaign. I said, listen, I got something for you. I want you to check it out, see what you think of it. I sent it to them. They loved it. They called me down. White guy was a campaign manager, and he was, sitting across from the desk when I walked in. And he said, yeah, we love your stuff. He put it in the player again, and he played it. Yeah, we love it. We like it, and everybody else likes it too. And we want to talk about compensation for it and all that. By that time, Barack Obama, the Illinois state senator, walked down the hallway, and he peeked in the door of his campaign manager, and he looked around and he saw my face, and he couldn't call my name, but he said, I don't know what that guy's doing here, but whatever he's doing here, let him do it. Because when I didn't have no money, he helped me. He remembered that I helped him. Then I took $300 for something that easily would have cost $1,500 to $2,000 for just that parade jingle. So that's what happened. The campaign manager put me on the phone with David Axelrod. That ended up being the chief of staff for President Barack Obama, and I think it was the advisor to Barack Obama. And from that moment, me and David Axelrod got to be cool with each other, and he put me on other deals that he was doing around the country, different other campaigns that he was consulting, and I ended up working with him with the music on other campaigns and all of that. We got to, so that jingle ended up being the official jingle for the senatorial campaign, and then of course they used Yes We Can in the presidential campaign. But it was interesting that, from one move, he was relative in the national sense of things. He was a nobody, and basically, so was I. I hadn't done my thing yet, and none of that. And it was two people that just met because I approached him about something I thought I could bring value to. And I'm encouraging you with that because I'm doing who I am. And that was my passion. Creating music, theme music, and creating things and making things that are not become. I've always been like that. I always wanted to see the tree grow. I always wanted to see something that was, a seed become something great. That's in my spirit. So I take on the challenges maybe other people don't take on because I love to see things grow and blossom and bloom and do great. I love it. So, from that time, I just went from one great thing to another great thing. And of course, Barack Obama became president of the United States of America. Yeah. And just to give you a little caveat to that story. So David Axelrod ended up doing many other things with other campaigns and all that. But when it came down to one of a real big deal, a big money-making deal, the mayor of Chicago was getting ready to run about a couple of years later. And a big political consultant in Illinois, had worked with President Clinton, all of them, was endeavoring to get that account for the mayor's media. And David Axelrod told them that if you want to get this account, go get that AC Green guy and make him your partner. And the reason he did that is because he won awards as a campaign manager with the jingle that I had written. Yes, we can. So one seed of faith, no matter what you think about yourself, you're one faith move away from greatness. So you have to get rid of the limiting beliefs that make you believe that you're not all that, because you are all that. You just haven't been able to watch your seed blossom yet, and it has to grow. One of the greatest traits you can ever have is to be positioned mentally to be cool with watching seeds grow. Everything is a seed before it's grown. Anyway, I told the graduates that story, and then I encouraged them to be who they are, no matter what anybody says, that everybody has a different fingerprint. No two people have the same fingerprint, and no two people are the same. Everybody has their uniqueness. And most of us don't live in our uniqueness, don't live in our purpose, don't even live in our passions for real, because we're talked out of them by other people. who are passionless. So I'm encouraging you today to live in your passion. Don't do for a living or don't do anything just because you're doing it. Don't do what you do. Always do who you are. Who are you? Yeah. You know, it's all about community, so we're giving to each other. You're my sister, my brother, and I love you. When you rise, I rise too.
It's all about community, so we're giving to each other. You're my sister, my brother, and I love you. When you rise, I rise too. Ooh, it's all about community, so we're giving to each other. You're my sister, my brother, and I love you. When you rise, I rise too. AC Green.